Hey, Nikki here, and in this video I'm going to show you 3 different release or stretching techniques that you can do to release or open tight lats. If you find these types of pain and injury prevention videos helpful, or your goal is to get stronger and fitter and just move better in your everyday life, then I would invite you to subscribe to my channel. I do try to put out videos on these types of topics regularly. Okay, let's get into it. So first 2 techniques, we're going to be using a foam roller. The last one will be optional to use a band, but if you don't have a band, no worries. You can do it just body weight alone, no equipment. So first thing we can do is, well, actually, let's just start here. What is your lat? Your lat is a great big back muscle that runs from up here all the way down your back. And it's a really important muscle. It's the one that helps us do things like pull-ups, but sometimes that whole area through our back can feel kind of stiff or tight, and you might notice that it feels really hard to lift your arms over your head without, say, here I'd be just lifting my arms, versus if my lats are really tight, I might go here and then lift my ribs, which may not feel super great on my back. Or if I'm doing something where I need my arms overhead for a strength move, then I might need to open up that area or have more mobility or flexibility there. So these exercises are intended to give you more mobility or movement in that area. But then what I would always do is follow it up with strength work, because mobility and flexibility won't stick if you aren't strong through those ranges of motion. So this is going to create a temporary increase in range of motion and may decrease some shoulder or back pain for some of us. So with that, let's start with just a simple technique to foam roll that area. For some of us, compression feels better, rolling feels better than stretching. Again, if you are hypermobile like I am, you might find sometimes that feels better. Also, another reason why we might roll or stretch our lats is because it helps you feel that area, which actually helps with muscle activation, so you can get more out of your strength training or your Pilates techniques. So to work on the lat, I like to just bring hands behind the head. We'll pick one side. I'm going to pick my left side here, so you'll point your elbows to one corner of the room. And then I like to start with the shoulder blade first, kind of swirling around on that bottom inner edge. And then if you find an area of interest, you can pause and then open and close the elbow. And then once you've done that, you can actually just roll a little bit more onto your side. And now I'm more kind of on my lat area. And now I can kind of do this little seaweed motion, working kind of around that outer edge of the shoulder blade. And then pause. And then if you find kind of area of interest and it feels tolerable, it's not too painful, you can rock forward and back. And I am using a softer roller. A firm roller might be really intense, so keep that in mind too. You might just pause and wait if it's real intense, or you can open and close your elbow a little bit. So I'm working my left side, I'm moving my left elbow. And then the last thing you can try here is just come all the way onto your side. So now the roller's gonna go kind of underneath the broadest part of your rib cage. And then you can rest your head down on your bottom hand, top hand go behind the head, on the roller, on the mat, on your hip, it doesn't matter. Do a little bit of kind of, again, that up and down action. You might notice this is quite tender, so you might want to be kind of gentle and slow. And then you can roll forward and back. And then pause on a spot, wait, and breathe. You could take your time a little bit more for this if you like. I'm going a little quicker just for brevity because I am showing you 3 different techniques. But just for fun, sit up for a moment before we do the other side if you're following along. Breathe in and out. Notice if one side already feels longer or more relaxed, or try taking your arms up. And I don't know if my range of motion looks different, but this arm feels like it can go a lot further than this one can. So we don't walk in a circle. Let's do the other side. So now, again, the roller is going to go kind of right in the middle of the shoulder blades. If you've got long hair, I'd gather it up so you don't catch your own ponytail. Pull your elbows in, point your elbows to side number 2. For me, that's now my right side. Swirl around on kind of that bottom third inner border of your shoulder blade. Find a spot, pause, and then you can open and close your elbow. Ooh. Notice if one side's a little more tender. For me today, my right side is apparently the one that could use a little love. Pause and wait. And then again, you can roll more onto your side and sort of start working that outer shoulder blade edge. Now, are we directly isolating our lat here? No, but it's all kind of the same. When we feel stiffness or tightness in an area, it's nice to kind of work the whole area versus trying to get too isolated, though I will show you how to isolate your lat in more of a stretch in a moment. And then again, you can roll forward and back if that is tolerable. If it is not, just pause, wait, and breathe. Or you can pause on the spot and then open and close that bottom elbow a few times. Beautiful. All right, let's do the outer edge of the rib cage. So come up for a moment, move the roller down just a smidge to the broadest part of your rib cage. Head rests on hand. Don't worry about what this arm does. Whatever feels most intuitive for a weird movement. Roll up and down. Pause on an area and then roll forward and back. Pause, wait, and breathe. So that is how you can roll that area. Now let's look at one stretch that you can do on the ground with the roller and then one that you can do standing, band optional. If you have a limited mobility in your hips and knees, the second stretch may not be for you. Feel free to skip it and just move on to the third one, but I do want to show it to you because it's a nice one if this position feels okay in your body. So for this one, you will be kneeling. You will take your roller, put it kind of catty corner or diagonal to your knee. Then you're going to take the opposite hand. So right now, this is my left side. I'm going to take my right arm up, karate chop the roller, and then I'm going to start to slide my hand out. Yes, I might need to move my roller until I feel a stretch here down kind of my armpit region. Now I can plant my left hand, and if I shift my pelvis over to the right, so I do more of a side bend on the right, I'm going to feel an even greater stretch down the right side of my arm. Now I can even play with where I rotate my hand, or palm to face up or down, or just press into the roller. Breathing into that whole right lat, right quadrant of my rib cage. And then coming up. I would hold that for 3 to 5 breaths at the most. Get in, get out. Okay, let's do side number 2. I'm not going to turn around because I'm not sure which view is going to be less confusing for you to learn from. So now you get to see both. So now I'm going to put the roller to the right side. I'm going to take my left hand up, karate chop the roller. You might have to move where your hand goes on it. That's normal. I hope I don't run into my wall. And then I'm going to roll my roller out. I might need to adjust where my roller goes, and that is fine. And then I'm going to plant my right hand. I'm going to shift my hips off to the left side. And again, I'm going to breathe now into my left rib cage and my left armpit. And I can play with exactly where my hand is on my roller to change my stretch. 3 to 5 breaths. And coming up. So that is stretch number 2. Okay, moving into our final stretch. I'm going to show it to you first without the band and then just with the band. So I'll try to show it from the front and the side view. First thing you're going to do here is take your feet a little wider than hips, soften your knees, and then you're going to tuck your pelvis under a little bit. So kind of pubic bone to ribs. So this would be more neutral. This will be a little bit more tucked, yes? Once you have your little bit of a pelvic tuck with the knees soft, let's go left arm up overhead and then spin your palm to face the ceiling. You're going to side bend up and over, keeping the tuck, and you might start to feel a little bit more stretch through here. And then if you think about sort of sinking the left foot down, you can think about sinking the left hip down to create even more stretch as you reach the left arm up. Let's try the other side. So pelvic tuck, I'll show it to you from the side this time. Knees soften, right arm reaches up, palm faces up, side bend over, and then think about sort of reaching the ribs up as you sink your hip down and see if that gives you a little more stretch. and let that go. Again, 3 to 5 breaths is a good way to do that. For some of us, we're so mobile, you might do better with the roller, that's okay. But sometimes the band can be kind of nice for feedback, assuming that you have the strength to press it over your head. If your band is too heavy, this isn't gonna work, just FYI. So same thing, you can actually press the band overhead, spin your palm up, soften your knees, tuck your pelvis, and then there it is. And then you can think about grounding the hip down as you reach the arm up. So you're trying to create more length in your side. For me, actually, I get a better stretch when I do that because I have so much range of motion. I need feedback to my muscles. You might not be like me though. And then again, let's just do the other side for exploration's sake. So knees soft, pelvic tuck, arm reaches up overhead. I'll show you the side view. Palm faces up towards the ceiling, side bend over, and then keeping that tuck. Think about sinking the right hip down as you reach the right arm up. You might also feel it very differently from right to left. That's pretty standard stuff. And those are your lat stretches. So like I said, after you've done those, you should hopefully feel a little bit more open and aware of your back line. Can be really helpful before you do strength or upper body work. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll catch you in the next one.